I just like to thank the Hall. This is a great honor. It means a lot to me. I'm very, very excited about it, very proud of it. And it's, something that I couldn't have done by myself. I had to have the other people on my team, offensive linemen, receivers, running backs, everybody that helped me along the way, especially the coaches. We had a tremendous high school coach in John Ferreira. We ended up winning the state in '71 and losing in the semifinals in '72. And from there I went to Rice University. I knew one thing, that Darrell Royal and Emory Ballard were running the wishbone offense, and I didn't have a lot of speed, so I knew I wasn't going to be much of a wishbone quarterback, but they promised they could change their offense. Well, I said, well, first you better get a coordinator that knows how to throw the football. And so I went to Rice. I knew from the time I was a little kid what I wanted to do. My heroes were Johnny Unitas and Joe Namath. And I was fortunate in that aspect to be able to do what you've ever dreamed about as a little kid, and it takes a lot of hard work and dedication. And I'm sure that's what all these great athletes up here know, and that's what drives you. And it's not about winning awards. It's not about worrying about things later on. It's, hey, what are we going to do to get to the next level today? And that's the way I was brought up. Then once I was very fortunate, my senior year, Homer Rice came in to coach at Rice University, and he brought in the triple option offense with him he coached at Cincinnati, University of Cincinnati, and had Greg Cook, who was an All-American quarterback, first-round pick of the Cincinnati Bengals. And so Homer comes up to me, and he's meeting us with us right before the start of the senior season. So he holds his fingers about this far apart, and he says, Tommy, I've watched a lot of film on you, and I tell you what, I usually, when I come to take over a new program, that we kind of like to start from scratch and let all the younger players play. And so he says, when he held his fingers up, he says, after watching film, I think you're this far away from becoming an All-American quarterback and lead the nation in passing. So he gave me these drills to work on. He said, you do this religiously, and I promise it will happen. And so I'm very thankful for that opportunity to get to play my senior year at Rice, lead the league or lead the nation in passing, and fortunate enough to be drafted in the first round by the Minnesota Vikings. And there I had another great coach in Bud Grant. Bud was very much a player's coach. Of course, some of the things that, like when I was playing sports in high school and college, everybody said, cigarettes and athletics don't mix. So my rookie year, I go up to Minnesota, and it's the first preseason game, and it's halftime, and all the players are going to the bathroom, and I see this cloud of smoke coming out. I said, what? That's Bud. I said, what's going on here? He said, well, we let them smoke at halftime, but only in the bathroom. So it's a culture shock going from Texas to Minnesota. I'll tell you that. And I remember my rookie year, we were playing the San Francisco 49ers on December 4th of 1977. And it was cold enough for me to put these big sauna rocks in my pocket so I could keep my hands warm, because Bud didn't believe in having heaters on the bench for our players. The other team could have them, but we couldn't have it. And so I'd take the big sauna rocks, set them in my big overcoat, and then go change them out at halftime when I came back out, because I really wasn't getting to play. So there's about, I remember, 8 minutes and 8 seconds left in that game, and we're behind 21-7 at the time. And San Francisco just punted to us. Bud just walks by me and says, okay, Rook, you're in. I don't get a chance to warm up and do anything. Well, I took that jacket off. The rocks almost fell on my feet trying to go out on the field. And I'm running stiff ankles out there because my legs wouldn't bend. I'm not used to that cold. So I end up going out there in the last eight minutes, throw 3 touchdown passes. And we ended up beating San Francisco 28-27 that game, which got us into the playoffs that year in 1977. But the thing of this story is that when I was at Lee High School, we played at Texas Stadium for our state championship game. And I don't know if all of you know, but I'm sure most I know all the Cowboy players know that they have a 3-foot crown on that field from the middle to the sideline. And I went out that pregame warm-up for that state championship game, and of course we were jacked up at that time. I mean, you know, your adrenaline's running, and so I mean, I'm overthrowing everybody on the sidelines. And, you know, just wasn't used to a crown that size. And so my high school quarterback coach, Mike Crocker, grabs me, puts his arm around me, and says, "Hey, you know, don't worry about it. Once you get hit the first time, it'll knock some sense into you." And so sure enough, that did. Well, so anyways, in '77, to have this crown come back on us, we were playing the Dallas Cowboys in the NFC Championship game that year. I mean to tell you, you know, so we went out to the warm-ups, and when you're on the same level field with them, you don't feel too bad. But boy, when I got over the sidelines, that game started, and I see Harvey Martin, Too Tall Jones, Randy White, and I believe it was Larry Cole standing on that crown, and I'm on that. I said, "Man, those are the biggest people I've ever seen in my life." But once we got them on our field the next time, then it didn't seem so big. But I'd like to thank, I'm the last of 11 kids. I come from kind of a small family. But I'd like to thank my youngest daughter for coming up, my girlfriend and her son. And 3 of my buddies flew in from Minnesota for this, and so we could play golf, but I don't know if the weather is going to let us do that. And also my sister and her husband. And I also have a roommate from college that came up, and then Alfred Anderson that I played with in Minnesota's here, and Rodrigo Barnes that went to Rice. And like I told Lance, I believe this would have to be the first time ever that 2 Rice people got into the hall at the same time. All right, again, I appreciate this great honor. Thank you very much.